Hi everyone. Okay, this is Rosalie Quarti. I'm a realtor with Royal Lepage. E hoje nós temos uma live. Vou falar um pouquinho em português aqui, né? Se caso alguém tá vendo, brasileiro, nós vamos falar em inglês. O meu convidado hoje é Frank Abouchakra, maravilhoso, mortgage broker, uma pessoa incrível, incrível. Ele já deve estar entrando daqui a pouquinho. Oi, pessoal. Vamos falar sobre mortgage hoje. Então, vai ser em inglês. Então, eu já peço desde já, forgive me for any mistake in English. English is not my first language, but I know how to communicate as much as I can. Let's just wait for Frank. Let's see if I can invite him here. Let's just see here. Rosalie Quarti, your turn. Okay, let me check if Frank is coming. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hello, Carmen. Carmen. Okay. I'm gonna check if I find, let's just find here Frank, who's gonna be part of my live today. Let's see where Frank is. Today we're gonna talk about the Ottawa market, tá? And we're gonna talk about the mortgage. What you need to know for the mortgage, guys. There's so many things going on in the market. So many things going on. So many questions. I even printed out the questions because I got so many people sending me some questions to ask Frank. I'm excited just to start with him. Let's see if he's gonna come here. Where is Frank? Let me see here if I can find him. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's just see if I can find Frank. TMG or mortgage. Just a second. Let's see if I find him. Okay. I put the people in situations like normally Frank is not used to do lives. Okay, Bar joined. Where is Frank? Frank, can you send me a request to be part of my live? For the live. You see, I start there. Hello, Frank. Carmen, outro dia eu vou te convidar para gente fazer uma nova live, Carmen. Today I need Frank. You wave at Frank, send me. Let's just invite Frank here, just a second. Hello, remove, go live. Let's see. Frank, accept my invitation. Poor Frank, I put him in a situation. Oh, he said he's unable to join. Guys, what's going on here? Let's think again. Remove from my mortgage, Frank. Go live with Frank. Let's see. See if you can. Okay, there you
No,
are, Frank.
hello, Rosalie.
Hello. I was
I
telling
did it.
people, I put you like in a situation. Let's do a live, friend. You're not used to do this all the time, and sometimes it's complicated to go Instagram. Technology.
Yes, I'm telling you. Well, I got to tell you, I set up my laptop. I was ready for you, Rosalie, but it ended up I had to go on my phone. So, hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. Me and technology, not so good. Me and mortgages, absolutely
You are
perfect.
amazing. We are amazing. Thank you so much, Frank, for coming with me, and let's do this live for people because there's so many questions, Frank. I print like here's some questions that I got, and so I'm excited to go over each of one of them. I hope we have enough time uh,
Yeah,
to
great,
go over
great.
something. But you know what? People, if your question is not answered in this live, you can always send us like a message, and we are gonna be happy to help you out. And this live here is gonna be recorded, Frank. So you can share with your social
Perfect.
media, and it's gonna be saved in here, and that people can send us any questions at any time. We're gonna be happy to answer. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about myself, Frank, and then you talk. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit more, okay? Because we are here to hear you, to hear you.
I've been looking
Thank,
forward to this. Let's
yeah,
go.
thank you. Maggie said, "Good job, Rosalie." Thank you, Maggie. I love to interact with people. So I'm Rosalie Quart. I'm a realtor with Royal LePage here in Ottawa. It's a company 100% Canadian, and I'm very happy now to be part of this new company. And thanks God, I have God is being amazing. The people say we are in a crisis, but God is not a God of a crisis. So I'm working hard. I'm working like keep myself busy and helping out my clients. I'm doing like real estate for over 27 years now. And like I said, I work in the Ottawa is small city around Ottawa, and I'm here helping people to sell homes, to buy properties, and I help some people with rent as well. And I read Frank said sorry for people because for my accent if I say some wrong words, but they can always ask what I meant. So I'm here. So that's the thing, right? And so now talk a little bit about yourself, Frank. Who are you?
All
Who is Frank?
right.
Where do
That
you
I could
work?
do it. I
Talk a
could
little
do a
bit
lot
about
of
you.
that. I can do a lot of that. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Frank Abouchakra, and I am a mortgage agent with TMG, the Mortgage Group. I love helping people. I love working with Rosalie, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about what's going on in the market. I know everybody wants to hear about rates, affordability, a lot of these items that I want to cover with you today. But of course, if you have any questions, please put those questions down below and we'll be happy to answer them.
Amazing. Guys, and Frank, he's like fantastic. He sits with you, he goes all the numbers. He's so patient, and like he's someone that I strong believe my clients really like to work with him, and they say thank you for the referral. Frank always is being very supportive. It's not only the with the mortgage, he's kind of a therapist as well. As always, we are a professional. We always helping people answer their questions with the mortgage, how try to guess the future, and like by reading the past, right? This is how
Absolutely.
we do it because like even for the mortgage and for the real estate market, it's kind of up and down, and it's a cycle, right, Frank? So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give you for the first question I have here. I have 7 questions, Frank. Oh my God. Try to be quick and direct to the point,
Yeah.
please. Okay, Frank, can you give us an overview of the current rate environment and what you're seeing with lenders?
Yeah, absolutely, Rose. That's a very good question. And look, what's happening is that people really got used to ultra low rates in 2020, 2022, 2021, and part of 2022. Now, those rates increased quite a bit over the last few years. And now what we are finding is that stability is coming into effect into the market, right? So what we are seeing now is that lenders are in an environment where they have to compete for your business. They didn't really have to compete for your business in 2021, right? Now they do. So even though we saw those rate increase so much, and a lot of people still assume that the rates are still quite high. Well, I got to tell you, they're not. Okay. So what we have seen, just to give you an idea on a variable rate side, the last three rate announcements from the Bank of Canada, they left the rates exactly where they are. Now, my
That's true.
suspicions are the next rate announcement, again, on the variable rate. So that's what most people are not taking advantage of right now. We'll talk about it in just a moment. But these are your variable rate mortgages. When it comes to fixed rates, what we have seen, anybody that bought a house last year, they were probably paying, anywhere north of 5%, 509, even as high as 549. We have seen those rates gradually come down. And even though in the last few months we did see some increases, I think right now the market is stabilizing and we are
Exactly.
seeing rates come come down quite a bit. And I contacted you a couple of days ago, Rosalie, and one of the reasons why I really wanted us to have this live is that if you're a first-time home buyer, an example, or you're switching a mortgage, and that mortgage was an insured mortgage, so that's where you put less than 20% down. Now you can amortize over 30 years. Well, guess what? We have a rate special right now, and people are getting as low as 3.69%.
Wow, Frank, it's kind of if you get a proper like people ask me all the time. That's why I decided even like to invite you to do this live because I'm getting so many questions about, oh, is it a time to buy? Is it time to sell? So like if you go see like you're saying now about the rates, like last year, who buys a home now? If like they, of course, each person is different. If their credit situation and everything is almost like a half what someone paid last year. So
That's
it's a
right.
very
That's right.
very good time to buy. And like the house have so many properties in the market right now. So the buyers are having a chance to negotiate of the price instead like the market we have in 2022 where we have the negotiation but for more than what was asking price. And today I'm seeing like a very balanced market here in Ottawa where
Yeah.
like the houses are listed, a few of them are going over asking price. Most of it is going a little bit lower. It's not like 10,000, 20,000, $30,000 less than what they're asking price, but it's very similar. So both sides are winning. And if someone is selling the house, like if you price it right, if you really need to sell, you're gonna sell it because there. What I noticed, Frank, there are a lot of buyers there ready to buy, just waiting for the right time because they didn't realize now is the right time.
Yeah. You know, Rose, you and I have discussed this over the years, and I think some people may know this information, but when the rates went down ultra low in 2020, what happened to the home
Boom,
prices? They
boom.
exploded. So at that time, it was a seller's market because you can list your home. Everybody was overpaying because the rates were quite low. By the way, unusually low. So if we go back and look at the historical data, you will not find rates as low as what we had seen or what we came across in 2020, 21, and even part of 22. I think that was not the best environment for people, believe it or not, because they ended up paying more for the houses. So now what you are finding is that there's a lot of people that are unsure, sellers, buyers, employment market. We always go through this. It's
Yeah,
cyclical. And if you notice, we're part of that cycle right now. So what you
exactly.
will find, in my personal opinion, and from what I see, it's a buyer's market right now because you've got to find balance between there's homes on the market, and you're right, the right homes are selling quickly. They're selling for asking or a little bit over asking price. But I think it's a great time for people to buy a home, but they need to know where they are and if they're able to do that or not. And we're going to talk about that as well.
Exactly, exactly. And I was just talking a little bit about the numbers of Ottawa market, Frank, and then you can have more, even more time to go over, like if I have some questions, and I have the other questions I'd like to ask you here as well. So for you to have an idea, the sales from last year to this year, we have like a 10, let me see here, a number of units sold. We had like 10.2% increase for August last year. So more house selling. So people are buying, right? Because last year the rates was like so it was super high. People were still buying. Now they are buying more. However, the price of the houses come down a little bit. So the home sales were 11.5% below the 5-year average and 14.1% below the 10-year average. Quer dizer, sorry, I put Portuguese in there. So what's going on is like the market, the houses, we have houses for sale. Here in Aura, at least, Frank, I noticed that. So where we have enough houses, the buyers are having more opportunity to choose for the house. What I'm telling people is like this: even if someone bought a house in 2022 because they bought that house because it was the only thing that was available,
Yeah.
was not their dream house. It was like the house that they like it, and now because it's like 5 years almost from the last like boom we had. People who bought the house at that time can sell the house today, and can they have the time to buy their dream home, and probably 5 years from when they bought from now, they got some equity on it, or even transfer. When you do the transfer from one mortgage to other, I'm sure, Frank, we discussed about this the other day, we can get even lower rates for you to
Oh
switch
yeah.
of the house and buy your dream home. Can you
Yeah,
talk a
no,
little bit about
absolutely,
that with
absolutely.
us, Frank?
Yeah, so look, here's what we're seeing, and I want to touch on that just a little bit. So, for those individuals that bought houses at the time, because guess what? That's what the market demanded, right? And let's, for example, if a client, and I've received a lot of calls from clients, we do reach out to a lot of those clients, and what we can do is do a calculation and say, if you were, for example, at 5.49, and now I'm able to get you into a mortgage where it's 3.69, we calculate how much savings they're going to experience. And what we can actually do is we can switch the mortgage over. And that really has no cost to them except for a penalty that they're going to have to pay to the lender that they're with now. But what we can show time and time again, whenever you have that large spread in interest rate, is that they're actually saving a substantial amount of money and people end up moving. So I really want to try to change the mentality out there. You have to, if you're in the market, you want to buy a home, right? That's a dream that we all have. And we want to make that dream happen. So Rosalie's going to help you get a great price on the home. You're going to come to me. We're going to work on your mortgage. It's very important that we know where you are now and where you want to be in the future, because I will note that and we will work on achieving your goals as time goes by. All in all, even though I'm saying that right now, if we look at rates, and folks, do this. Go and Google what was the average rate in 2019, and you're going to find that it was in the threes. We're back to those numbers again now. So when it comes to the rates are too high, I'm sorry to say that's not an excuse anymore. Rates have come down, very good levels, and what it helps is people to qualify for the mortgage that they want. Affordability is a major problem, and we're going to talk about that, I'm sure, as well.
Exactly. Like if someone way too much, what's gonna happen? Like we have now the new another mortgage rate announcement in the future. So we don't know if that's gonna stay. It's gonna go lower. So lower the mortgage rates goes, higher the price of the house will go. So if you can get a pre-approval, I always tell to my clients, if you can get a pre-approval today, like with a mortgage broker, your rate is gonna be locked for 3 months. So you have 3 months ahead, and if you like if you find the house like in the first week, we went to see a house, you are pre-approved for 3 months, and we found the property before your closing date. If the rates go lower, you're gonna pay the lower rate. However,
Absolutely.
if your rate go higher, you are gonna pay the same rate as you were approved today. That's what is very important, to get a pre-approval and see where you are. I always tell people you are richer than you think. You know, they are waiting too much, and who waits too much is gonna pay more for the house. I don't know. I feel like people like to compete with others, because like do not wait that time, because it's so it's terrible for both sides. You know, like to go and see the house, they fall in love, and there is a competition, because like the house is gonna start to get less and less home in the market, and you're gonna start to compete, because if the rates go lower, more people is gonna come out and buy. Because
Yes.
if you wait to go to see where you are, you're gonna miss out, because there are a lot, like I'm telling you, Frank, there's a lot of buyers ready to go, just waiting the right moment. Do you
Right,
agree with
right.
them?
And you know, Rosalie, I think it's very important for people to get the right information. And that's what it's all about. You have to get the right information. So nobody is the same as the next person, right? We all have very unique situations. We all have very unique um, requirements, right? So it's very important that you sit down with a professional. Look, there are many mortgage agents out there. And I'll tell you, by the way, you can go to your bank and you can deal with your bank. That's not a problem. There's a difference in dealing with a mortgage agent. Not just myself, but you can deal with any mortgage agent out there. One, we are licensed okay? We are held accountable to you and to the authorities. So it's very important to distinguish the difference. The biggest difference is that we have multiple lenders that we can deal with. So if your situation requires that extra care, a mortgage broker like myself is going to be able to assist you. If you go to the bank, and I always use this analogy with my clients, you know, there's nothing wrong with using a bank. We use banks when we need to.
Exactly.
They have a tool belt and they only have in their tools what the bank offers, and that's it. Well, that may not fit what your needs are, and that's why a mortgage agent will be able to pull multiple tools out and be able to provide you with the right service, the right product that you require. So it's very important to get the information that you need.
Exactly, and if for us like immigrant, there's a lot of things that comes into place because sometimes I have like clients that they sold their property in Brazil and the bank doesn't know how to read all those paperwork. Oh my God, we went through so many difficult deals, right, Frank? And you
Yes,
went over each of one of them with success.
yes,
You could read for the bank. Like those were like nice clients, but they went to the lender A, like the bank. They could not do anything because they didn't know how to read all the information. So
yes.
when we sent to Frank, he went to the same lender and he made the mortgage because he knew how to explain the situation. It's like when people go through, I always tell to my clients, never go to to Google and to ask for a pre-approval. Those are just net to catch the client because those are banks like trying to help you out, but they are not. And they're going to tell you information that is not for you because it's for everybody. And then sometimes I have clients, Rose, you know what? I'm a approved for $800,000. Wow, that's amazing. Can you send an email, introduce me to your mortgage broker? I'd like to know who he is and to see how the situation, when you can do the closing. Oh no, I put it on Google and the Google sent to me according to the information that I sent to put it on the website. Oh my God, Frank. Oh, I said, oh, the $800, it can go like what I tell my clients. You know what? Like this one is not the reality. We need to get like a very serious professional to go over to your paperwork. So if you put in there, it say $800,000, it can be 1 million or it can be 700. So because he's gonna look over the small letters, your contract, about your work, how it is, everything about your family, about you and your wife, all the finances, historic, and then he's gonna select the best lender for you. So it's a little bit more complicated, but because people complicate things, could be easier. If you go to a mortgage broker, he's gonna be the one who's gonna search for the right bank that's gonna be with your personality. Everybody is unique, so
Right.
it's not like one size fits all, right, Frank?
It's not. It really is not. And that's the whole thing. I'm glad. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Rosalie, because a lot of information, there's a lot of misinformation when you just simply go online and look. I don't know if people assume that brokers cost them money. We don't.
Yeah, there's no
When we
cost.
close on your mortgage, the lender pays us. So it's in my best interest that I help you get a mortgage so the lender can pay me. Now, again, we have very serious precautions that we have to take, and we have to let you know about everything that we've taken every step of the way. So there are regulatory requirements that we meet every step that we take in the mortgage. Otherwise, you can hold us accountable. And I
Yeah.
think that gives us that. There's a reason why more and more people are using mortgage brokers. Okay, one, you're going to get very specialized service, and you're going to get someone. If I get a call at 7 p.m., I am going to take that call. My hours are not 9 to 5 because you may be in a state of panic and you want to know, you want a response to a question, and you want to be able to pick up that phone and have that very unique service that only a mortgage broker can provide. You pick up that phone and you call, and guess what? You're going to get a response. What if it happens on a Saturday morning? I guarantee you, your bank is not going to be able to
No,
respond
no,
to you
no,
on a
no.
Saturday.
Exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
what I want to talk about. But then it comes down to the actual product. Two mortgages built the same? No. Otherwise, we would have maybe one or two lenders. There's a reason why we have
So
50
many lenders,
plus
right?
lenders. Yeah, because there's always unique situations. And you know, you mentioned the client that we were very successful with. And this is what drives us, what gives us that personal satisfaction is helping people get across this finish line. So I deal, thanks to Rosalie, I deal with a lot of Brazilian clients. And I understand what goes on in Brazil and what happens when money is transferred here or whatever the case may be. Now, it's very important that we don't waste a lot of time and we go to the right lender. We know what the parameters are. We can go to the right lender to ensure that the whole process goes as smoothly as possible. And in the end, you end up moving into your home. And that's the goal that we all want to achieve at the best rate to give you the right terms, the right conditions, and to look into the future and make sure that if we need to pivot, we can pivot to meet your needs.
Like you're a representative, right, between the bank and the client. And like I
Yes.
said, the client is unique. The mortgage banks are not. They have like a diverse, a lot of like different banks, like Frank, where you can like match with the right client. And this is the joy of our work. It's like work. Each case is different. Even like I have now a nice, amazing person starting the business. Like by the way, Becky now is a realtor.
Oh, well done, Becky. She's going to be
Yes, being part of my
amazing.
team. I'm so happy for her. It's a beautiful journey ahead. And I have a
Nice.
new person starting. He's amazing as well. And I always tell him, so all the process is the same, but totally different because each case is unique. Each client is unique. And there is a specific way to go with each one of them, right? And he was like, he didn't understand much when I say at first, but then now he realized, oh my God, it's the same, but it's totally different. I said, yeah. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's how you need to know to bounce from one side to other and knowing and doing training all the time because everything changes. The market is changing all the time, Frank, and we
Absolutely.
need to be ahead of the game. Otherwise, our
Absolutely.
client's gonna be behind.
Oh, 100. Look, even if you go see a doctor, no two doctors are equal. One is going to have a lot more knowledge than, say, a younger doctor that just exited medical school, or you go visit a doctor that's been practicing for 30 years. You're going to get a difference. And that can be applied to any industry. You want someone
Exactly.
that's well versed in the industry. And look, I deal with a lot of your clients. I am so fortunate to do that. Every single one of Rosalie's clients knows that she cares, that she does it for long-term relationship building, and you want someone not to be able to just serve you now, but someone that you can actually depend on. So when you have moved into the house, you have a question, you want to be able to reach out, and every single time I get the same response about Rosalie. She is the best, and there's a reason why. You're going to get this
Oh, thank you.
incredible character that's always going to be happy, joyful. And I think that has an impact on you when you're going to buy a house. It's a lot of pressure, right?
It
Especially if you're a
is. It
first
is.
time home buyer. Oh my God, my first time home buyers, no matter how hard we try to say it's going to be smooth, it's going to go very smoothly, they will continue to stress. We understand that. So it's
Yeah.
very important to be able to come in at the right point to kind of just release that tension, right? It's like
Exactly.
giving
And
a
I
great
always say
massage.
to my clients, sometimes they are like ashamed to ask a question. I said, no, 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 there is no silly questions. All the questions are valuable because sometimes something is so obvious for me, but it's not obvious for the other person. So we need to be respectful, not pressuring. And I always tell my clients, sometimes you're going to choose the house. We're going to look at the property you're saying. And when we arrive, that is not the right property. And then Frank is so funny because I tell them like the house chooses you too. So is that magical when you go with love and we try to do as less stressful as possible the process to make sure they're gonna get what they want and to be happy because it's one of the biggest investment in the client's life. You cannot rush this off and you need to do the things right and we are here to help.
Right, Frank?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
let's just talk a little bit, go a little bit more. I said about like the Ottawa market. Guys, Ottawa is fantastic. If you are in
Mhm.
Ontario and if you're always thinking about, oh, I'm gonna go to big cities like Toronto, Vancouver, the price of houses are so high. uh, of course, in Ottawa, you can buy like amazing property for a very good price. This is too high price, guys. Don't take me wrong. I think like it's a lot of money to pay for a house, but here it's easy the way you do it. It's not like in Brazil. It's so complicated to buy a property, Frank. And here is much easier than we think. One of the things in 2019 that I did that helped a lot of people was educating them how it is fun, like the steps to buy a property here is much easier, less stressful than we have in our country, and the way the government has so many incentives as well for first time home buyers, right? And this is amazing, like and once you buy your first home, I always tell my clients, you already are an investor. So you can do so many things with that equity, with the money that you already put it as a down payment, and to help your family to pay the kids' university. Here, there's so many ways to unlock that money that you invest in your first home to help your family if they go through a hard time as well. Right,
Yes.
Frank?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And when it comes to the Ottawa market, so I want to speak to the Ottawa market. I, like you, Rosalie, I invest in real estate as well. I love real estate investing in Ottawa. Why? Because it's a secure market. When you saw prices really fall in places like Vancouver, even Toronto, completely different market. But what you have in Ottawa is you have job stability, right? Especially right now. That can change at any moment. And I understand there's a lot of various factors, but in Ottawa, the median income is quite high. And what you're going to find is that it provides stability. So when we look at prices, and a lot of people say, oh, the prices fell. Again, they're looking at 2021, 22. And that's not the case. I always
No.
try to educate people and say prices rose too much, and now what they did was settle because they should have never increased to that point,
Exactly.
right?
Now it's settled. Now it's like the right,
Yes,
this what's supposed to be done. Frank, for you to have an idea, you can buy like a single home in Barhaven for 670, 680, or less than that, single home. And like the price, the bidding price for a single home in order is $730,000. However, like of course, if you go to Kanata Lakes, to like to downtown to buy the big homes, of course the price is much higher. But you can buy like a beautiful, like brand new example town home for 650, for 700, right? And the other thing I'd like you to touch up for us, Frank, is about the first time home buyers. Is the incentive when you buy a brand new home. When we say first time home buyers, it has to be first time home buyers in the entire world. If you already had a home in Brazil, you cannot be first time home buyer here in Canada because
right.
that counts as well, right, Frank? Can you talk a
Yes,
little bit about
absolutely.
that incentive, about the first time home
So,
buyer?
so specifically when we talk about that, because I've been in situations where on the mortgage side of things, I can qualify the client as a first-time home buyer. But when it comes to the closing, when it comes to the closing, when you're closing with your lawyer, what that means is you sign up the paperwork and the lawyer is going to transfer title and so on. There is a tax that you would pay, okay? Land transfer tax. When you're a first-time home buyer, let's assume you're a couple, you'll each qualify for up to $2,000. That's an instant rebate that you will get, so you're not paying that out of pocket for that service. Okay. Now, if you have owned a home in Brazil and now you're buying a home here and that's declared, you're not going to qualify for that. But a lot of people assume that from the finance perspective that I cannot submit a first-time home buyer. I can, because you're a first-time home buyer in Canada. So when it comes to the mortgage side of things, we can absolutely positively qualify you for that. Where does it matter? It matters because in the past, not long ago, everybody qualified at 25-year amortization unless you were putting 20% and it was what's called an uninsured mortgage. Okay. So now a first time home buyer can qualify for a 30-year mortgage. And that's
Wow.
going to help you with affordability and maybe buy a little bit more house than what you could have 6 or 7 or 8 months ago. So there's a very strong distinction that we want to make, and make sure that we qualify the client for this specific situation at present time.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. And this, the knowing that you can use the money from Brazil. And I always like ask, tell my clients, sometimes they come to me, but Rose, I'm not going to sell my property in Brazil. I said, okay, how much you're getting in rental in there? Oh, I'm getting like 3,000 reais. What's going to be like $500,
Divided by 4, yeah.
$550
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And here we cannot find anything less than $2,000. Like a studio in downtown is $1,800.
Yes.
So imagine that's gonna be $10,000 in our money. Like if you get this money and take it to Brazil. So I always tell them it's worth it to sell if you plan never to come back. So sell the property in there, get whatever even if it's little amount, bring it to Canada and then help to buy your home here. And like if the house is too small, right? Like they can live for a time and oh my God, I didn't like the house is too small. I'm gonna wait a little bit more to buy a bigger house and I need to rent something bigger. That first home can be your rental property. Right, Frank?
And that happens time and time again,
All the
right? We always
time.
have clients that have purchased their home, say, 3 to 5 years ago, and now they're in a better situation. They actually retain that property, it becomes a rental property, and now they buy the next home, and it's the house that they actually want, again, at present time. And
Mhm.
I think that's a wonderful way to plan for your future. So when you retire, you're not just, basing your retirement on your pension income. Now you have income that's coming in from a property that's increased in value year over year, right? And it's paying for itself. It's a wonderful position to be in. So Rosalie, if you don't mind, I just want to go over a couple of items. They may be basic, but I think especially for first-time home buyers, there's just a few key things that I want them to know in preparation.
Please go
Okay?
ahead, Frank. We are here to
So
plan, ready to learn with you.
So basically what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your down payment available. Your down payment can come from you, from your source, from your savings, but your down payment can be given to you by a family member. Usually it's an immediate family member. So a mother, a father, a brother, or a sister. In some cases, an aunt or an uncle. For example, if your aunt or your uncle are the ones that raised you, then you would be able to get the down payment from them. And I've been able to, negotiate that with the lender. So it's very important that you know that there's multiple ways that you can do that. You can actually borrow the money, but we have to, a portion of it has to come from you, but you can borrow the rest. And we have to incorporate that debt into the mortgage. And as long as it fits, you can do that as well. So your down payment can come from multiple sources, and that's why you need to contact a mortgage broker like myself so we can give you the right information. The money can in fact come from a country like Brazil, and it's very easy, folks. You can transfer the funds from Brazil to your account from bank to bank, or you can use agencies like Wise, and you can transfer the funds as well. All we have to show is that transfer and a deposit into your account. Now, very important in your planning, we need to be able to provide proof of funds for 3 months. So if I'm submitting the file today, we need to go back 3 months and provide where did the money come from? For
The
multiple
source of
reasons.
it, right?
Yeah, the source
Yes,
of the
guys,
funds.
please do not do. We had remember that client Frank that we deal with. He made so many. He got like
Oh
the
yeah,
mom, the sister, all his friends
everywhere.
to send money to Canada for him to save on the payment for the tax when you do the
Yes.
transfer, right?
From
Oh
different
my God, that
countries.
was a nightmare because I need to explain each one of it. Guys, do
Yes.
not try to be cheap. Does do the things right.
Contact me out of time. I promise you I'll help you save a ton of money. I always do. So I wanted to talk to you about the down payment, but more important than any of that, because look, if you're going to go out with someone like Rosalie, okay? Now, Rosalie works very hard. She's very busy. It's costly for her to go around and to help you find a house, and she doesn't mind doing that, and I know that for a fact. However, You want to be an informed buyer. You want to be a prepared buyer. So it's very important that you get pre-qualified. So when you come to me, I'm going to look at all your documents. I know exactly what the lender's looking for. And we're
Mm-hmm.
going to pre-qualify you. You will go out with Rosalie looking at the right house. So we can say, okay, if this is your price ceiling where you set those parameters, this is where you want to be. And anything below you can afford. Here's the payments. This is what you can afford. Now you can go out knowing how much you can afford exactly. It gives you a sense of power, a sense of freedom. So you can say, you know what, Rosalie, I can afford a $650,000 home. I can handle that payment. I've looked at it. I've looked at all the other costs associated, and I would be in a great position to buy a home. Let's go shopping for one, right?
Exactly. And
So,
sometimes we get clients, right, Frank, that was pre-approved, let's say for 800,000. Then they said to me, Rose, I want to go maximum 650. Okay, so let's go see what we can afford, what you can buy with 650 and what you can buy today with 800,000. So then we go take a decision. They decide, okay, I think the 650 is going to be too small. 800 is going to be too big. Let's go 710. But at least we are going to go and see it. I do not let you buy the first home. We are going to see at least 5 homes, 6 homes, or even more if it's
wow.
necessary. According, of course, of the market, because, like I said, it's the biggest investment in your entire life. You need to be careful what you're gonna buy. You need to be well informed. You need to be well informed about the historic of the property as well. We are here to help. Like, we want you happy because our work is about referral, right, Frank? More people
Absolutely.
referral, that's what makes us always working. We work by referral. And thanks God, we are very good served on that. Like, people, so far so good. I'm so
Yeah.
happy what we are serving, giving to our clients, and we are here to serve. And we are professional that we choose to work with the public because we want to give our best. And that's why we invest so much in training. We are in very good companies, in like a reliable company, because we heard so many things about like companies closing out there and people getting like losing, like realtors losing the company they work, what they invest in their clients losing money as well. So we want to make sure you are in the right place, and we have insurance as well. We have a lot of costs, and we have our insurance. If something goes wrong, we are here to be supported, to support you as well. We have a huge team
Yeah.
behind our back. It's not only Rosalie Quart. Like with me, now I have Becky, my amazing new realtor in my team, and I have Anderson. I have like Josie that helped me as well. I have like the entire brokerage with. Like the department, the sales department, the juridic department is a huge team behind. There's a lot of course behind. So that's why I want you to send your question, book your appointment, and we're gonna be here to answer your questions. Frank, just a second. I just got a call, a question for Hanston. Say, how much is a house with $3,000 mortgage per month with minimum pay down payment? With a
Well,
minimum down payment.
yeah, that's a very good question. And it's really difficult to provide that without knowing your credit. But let's assume, for example, you've got exceptional credit. And based on, some of the submissions that I did today. So the last one that I submitted before we joined this, it was a young couple, first time home buyer, putting 5% down. The house was 545,000. I believe the payment was around 2775 or $2,800. So just to give you an idea now, it's very important that if you have specific questions, I can easily meet with you. I love video calls, and we can plug in numbers because you're going to set those parameters that you've set right now, and we can reverse the mortgage so you know how much exactly you can purchase, right? We want to make sure that we've got the down payment in there. The mortgage default insurance has to be in there as well. And then we will give you the exact amount that you can essentially expect to pay for the home. And that
Mhm.
would be very easy to do.
Yes, when you buy your house, like Frank, can you talk? I wanna let you talk about a little bit about this because some clients comes to me, I Rose, I wanna have like the 20% until I have the 20% to do the down payment. I'm not gonna buy a house. And I
Right.
told them, like, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is a mistake. Why? Because if you like the mortgage, like the insurance you have to pay if you put less than 20% down payment, it's gonna be paid in 15 years, in 25 years or 30 years. Accordingly, depend on each case, the person bought the house. So this 18, I don't know if it's 18, 20,000, it's gonna be solved in 20 years. So, and you can buy a house now like for the price you are seeing now. If you wait too much, you're gonna pay $40,000 more for the house, and it's gonna be hard for you to get to the 20% because the price go much faster higher than your salary.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, you are already. I always tell people when they are renting, you're already paying a mortgage, but it's not your mortgage. You're paying
No,
someone
that's
else's
exactly
mortgage.
right.
Do not be scared. I'm sure you can handle it. You're gonna find a way to pay for it.
Yeah, no, look, that's absolutely right. Again, I can go back to the couple that I was dealing with in the last week or so because they went out and they were
Mhm.
looking at homes, and in the end, what they discovered was that they can afford more of a home, and that allowed them to go look around. They ended up buying a brand new property that fit their needs a lot more than what they were expecting. And they looked at the rent factor, they looked at the purchase factor. And yes, there are some costs that are going to be there. For example, home insurance, right? You should know that you're going to pay home insurance.
Property
But what they,
tax.
property tax and so on. But they were shocked with the level of home that they can buy. It was a larger home, it was a brand new home, and it's their home. They're building equity. So as time goes by, it is for savings. Folks, the best thing that I've ever done is invest in real estate. You
Yeah,
can
me
go and
too.
look at historical data. Don't take my word for it. You know as well as I do. A house sold for, you hear 69,000 in the 80s. But now you hear a house is like Rosalie was saying, 610 or 775. Well, over time, the house price has constantly gone up. So you're not going to be in a position where your home purchase is going to be a bad purchase. Guess what? The lender's not going to allow you to overfinance the property regardless,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They
Exactly.
will request an appraisal. So there's a lot of safeguards to make sure that you're getting into the right home at the right payment. And like the question, $3,000 mortgage, I guarantee you that will buy you plenty of a home to fit your needs and your family's needs as well. I guarantee it.
Exactly. And then, like I said, like now is what, like if 545,000 cannot buy the house of your dream, it's not time for you to buy the house of your dream yet. Just buy a house. Just buy a house, enter with your family, save that money in 5 years. Make a plan of 5 years. 5 years or less than that, you can get the equity made in that property and buy your dream home. Like you have time to choose your home, right, Frank? And then, like all that money you put it toward that house that was not your dream home is gonna help you pay your kids' university. It's gonna have to pay for that trip that you always wanna do with your family. There's so many things you can do with the equity for your property when it's time for you to renew the mortgage, right, Frank? Because we
Yeah.
have that one when we were renewing the mortgage, you can do so many things. And then even like if your situation is better in 5 years, you can even keep that home to be your first investment property and get 5% again because you're buying your home, right? For you to move in,
Yes.
get
Yeah.
another 5% and buy your dream home and keep the one you bought first.
Yeah, that brings up a very good point, Rosalie. Yes, you will qualify for that home that you're going to move into at less than 20% down. Now, there's something when a client comes in and they may want to put 20% down. And we go through exercises where I'll show them all the numbers. I'll show them how much it would cost them in mortgage default insurance if they put less than 20% down. And you'll see what the rate is. Because when it's an insured mortgage, you're protecting the lender, and the lender is going to give you the best rate,
And the
right?
rate is lower than
It's
if you
the
put
lowest it can
20%.
be. It's the lowest it can be.
Yeah,
And by the way,
yeah.
it carries on later on. If you want to switch your mortgage, you're still going to get the best rate in, say, 3 or 5 years' time. Now, let's say you're putting 20% down, and that becomes what's called not an insured mortgage where you're paying mortgage default insurance, but the lender is paying the mortgage default insurance. Often you'll find that the rate is higher. So it's very important for me to sit down with the client and say, well, look, if you were to put, for example, 10% down or 15% down, I show them all the calculations versus 20% down. Which option do you want to take? So now they're looking at the numbers and they know exactly what's best for them. Take it, study it overnight, make an informed decision, make a decision with all the knowledge that you need. And it's not just a figment of my imagination. I want to put certain amount of money down in the hopes and the dreams that I get this, and that. You don't have to do that, folks. You can be very precise, and I will give you all the different parameters. I really don't mind spending time with you to
It's
make
a
sure that
Zoom
you get
call,
what you
right,
need.
Frank? You do a
Yes,
Zoom call. It's not like something by phone. And I always say to people, clarity is power. Clarity is power. Just go, even like if you're not
I
like
like that.
you think you are maybe ready, and maybe you are already ready. But at least you know you don't lose, like I said, I'll lose the train, you know? Just jump in, go and see what's going on. Okay, it's not my time, but do a plan. And the mortgage broker is there for to help you. Sometimes I get people, Rose, I have this much money. I said, no, no. They're not saying anything. You don't talk about
Yeah,
numbers. The only number I want to hear is the one your mortgage broker is going to tell you how much we can look for the property for sale, because this is all personal. It's privacy matters, everyone. Never everything you talk with Frank is going to be private in there. If you talk with me, it's going to be private as well. I have families, like friends, lots of friends, like they bought the house and no one in our like relationship knows they bought the house. You know, like privacy matters. You are gonna tell me what to do. We are gonna follow your lead, your instructions to do the best thing. And I'm sure, Frank, like I totally, guys, like if you are looking for a nice mortgage broker that's gonna do the work for you, Frank is one of these mortgage broker. Like you
thank you
can
so
go.
much, Rose.
Yes, you can go, and then he's
Yeah,
like honest, and it was proven already how amazing he is, and he take the time to listen to you. Like I said, every person is different. Every person needs are different, so that's why he takes care and hear what's going on in your life, and to
yeah, it's
help you
got
to
to be
do
a
the right
long-term relationship.
choice.
It really does. You know, if you're in a position where you can serve people, your business is going to grow. If you serve them right, if you give them exactly what they
Exactly.
want, if you're accountable to them, if, by the way, I remember, Rose, I dealt with a friend of mine, if I may tell a personal story, because this is how I kind of programmed myself to be a specific way. So I was dealing with a friend, and I bought a couple of properties back then in my early 20s, mid 20s. And you know something? I had to chase the information. And I remember the feeling, you know, the first time I dealt with my bank, and that was, to me, that was a terrible experience, right? And then I started using a friend of mine. And I remember telling him, I'm not going to mention his name, although I'd like to because we're still buddies and he would know if he watches this. I said, you're doing a terrible job. You are not keeping me informed. I'm the one that's calling you on a regular basis, and you're always asking me for documents. I collect documents up front. I'm not saying that I'm going to collect all the documents because your
Like I
situation,
said, yeah,
the
you're
lender may
representing
need
the
more.
bank, right, Frank? So
Yes,
you're gonna go over all the documents, but however, the bank can ask for something extra where
absolutely,
you're gonna
absolutely.
contact the client.
Most of the time, I'm going to collect it up front. But going back to my personal experience, I said, this is what I will avoid being. Okay. I've
Yes,
been in
chasing
finance for
people.
many, many years, but you need,
Chasing.
especially a first time home buyer, you need the information. I don't want to wait for you to ask me a question. I'm going to give you the information. And then as we move along in the process, you're constantly going to be kept in the loop as to exactly what's happening. I don't want you wondering. I know what that does to a couple, to a family, to an individual, when you're wondering what is going on with my mortgage. You'll never be in that situation. You're dealing with professionals, and that's what I want you to expect. We deal with people, Rosalie and I, the way we want to be dealt with.
Exactly.
And
With
the
respect.
service doesn't end when your mortgage closes. We go beyond that. You might have a question 2, 3 months down the road. You'll call Frank and Frank will help you. I guarantee you that. And I'm sure, Rose, you'll do the same thing.
The same. I say it doesn't finish when we close the deal. It's the
No.
opposite. We become friends forever. I'm there always available. I do that a lots of clients events, and Frank is one of my amazing sponsors because we want to keep this connection. Because like we never know when we're gonna need something, or if you have a friend that is gonna need someone too, and then you feel confident to refer as me and to refer Frank as well. We are here literally to serve you as our clients, being honest in the best of our knowledge. And we keep, it's not like we have our knowledge. I am in the business for over almost 30 years now. It's not like I have that knowledge for 30 years. I have the experience, but every day I'm learning new things, every day, because the market today is not the same as it was in the past. And the same with the mortgage, like even it's a cycle, we don't know 100% of anything. We need always to have like a teachable heart, because we are here to serve and to do our
Yes,
best for our
absolutely.
clients.
Absolutely.
And you are like fantastic, Frank. I'm saying again, people,
Thank you.
if you need someone, so reach out to Frank. And if you need like a good realtor, I am amazing realtor.
Bet.
Selling my fish now. I'm here to help. So, Frank, it's already an hour. I know.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Oh my God, it's so good. Time flies. And if you leave me, I'm gonna be right here for hours talking. Because you wanna give the information. It's so good when you can serve and you can help others, and giving the information they need to take the decision. Like, guys, you're home. You already have your PR. You have your job. You are here more in your job more than 3 months. You're ready to buy. Do
Not
not wait
always,
like.
Rose. Not
Sorry.
always. That's what we always told people, that you have to be at your job for 3 months. Not always,
Not
right? It's
always, because
circumstances.
right,
Not always.
because if you came
Yep.
from the same job from another
Yes.
company, you are ready to buy.
You're
So the
fine.
thing
You're
is,
totally fine.
exactly. If you are employed, if you have like the PR, because most of my clients are immigrants. If you have the PR, have like even like 5% down payment, right, Frank?
Yes.
Contact us. If you just rent a house, not a problem. Contact us. We're gonna see how your situation today, and let's make a plan together. When you are like, let's say, 9 months over your rental contract, we are gonna start your mortgage process for you to buy a property. On the last day of the rental, you enter in your own home and
Oh, I
never
love it.
ever pay any other people mortgage in your life.
No, pay your own.
Pay your
Grow
own
your own
mortgage.
equity. Forced savings. Real estate is
Exactly.
one of the
You
best
deserve it.
investments you will ever make.
Yes, we deserve, like we work so hard. Why working for other, make other people rich if you can be rich yourself? Because like some people say to me, Rose, I'm so scared I cannot pay the mortgage. I said, did you ever didn't pay your rental? No. I said, oh yes. Imagine your mortgage. It's gonna be
Right.
for your entire family. You're gonna be able to do it. And just in case there's insurance in there, everybody goes to bad situation in life, and there's always a way for you to go let's say, um, there's always a way to fix something. You're gonna have some professional to help you. Do not ever let something get in the worst situation. When you see something is going wrong, talk with your mortgage broker. He's gonna help you find a way. I don't know. There's always a way for the things to be solved, and you need to look for a professional. Do not try to solve by yourself.
That's
That's
right.
my last advice, Frank. Give the last advice, and then let's gonna finish this.
I would say get the information. Don't sit there and wonder. Don't sit there and wonder what you can buy, what you can afford, what you can do. Get the right information. It gives you a sense of freedom. And
Yeah.
believe me when I say owning a home is a dream that everybody has. And we want to help you achieve that dream. We want it to be done. We want to take the proper path, make sure that it's done for you the way you deserve, right? So reach out to a professional. I urge you to start with Rosalie. She's going to guide you in the right direction, not only to buy the house, but maybe you need a lawyer, maybe you need an inspector, maybe you need what, regardless of what you need. The benefit of dealing with a professional like Rosalie is that you have a team working on your behalf,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
they're working for you. So I urge you, don't sit on the sidelines. It's the right time to buy a property right now. If your job is secure, why not buy a property?
Exactly. And the other thing, like I'm like in my heart, I need to say that is like I'd like to be your family realtor. There's like is
Yeah,
that like the family doctor? I'm the family realtor.
I
It's so
love that.
funny. People call me, Rose, do you know someone that can change my floor? Rose, do you know a family doctor? Rose, do you know like where there's a manicure, a pedicure go or something? It makes me feel so happy because I feel like including their life and like being part of the family. And guys, when we say here to get the right professional and say clarity is power, there is always this part on the movie Alice in the Wonderland,
Yeah,
where she's lost and she goes in the way of the garden. She sees the rabbit, and there is two ways. And then she
I
stopped and
love
asked
that.
to the rabbit, "Hey, Mr. Rabbit, which one is the right way?" And he said, "Okay, where do you wanna go?" And she said, "I don't know." Okay, if you don't know where you wanna go, each way is the right one.
Right.
So talk with a professional, find your way, and if you're not ready yet, at least you know where you're going. That's
Yeah.
it. Thank you very much. You know how to contact me, and you're gonna know how to contact Frank. We are here to help, and see you next time. Thank you so much, Frank.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Rosalie.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a beautiful, beautiful
Ciao.
night, everyone. Bye.